Gotta tell you, when you have real world worries, you don't want to fret about frivolous stuff like, what am I reading? Then again, maybe art is not frivolous at all, you know? It's interesting to me that there were people in the Nazi concentration camps who still like drew pictures on things, and wrote poems and songs, and composed a philosophy in Viktor Frankl's case. Maybe art is the farthest thing from frivolous. Maybe it's a lifeline. I want to do a video on these Images of America books, but first, Baby Squirrel has the message. No, that is not your water. No. Letterbox breath. Anyway, I had an idea about taking a bookish look at a couple of films. So I want to talk about two movies that are both kind of literary. What's up, kitty? And some related books. Because art ultimately it's everything, It's all things that we consider art. It's a giant experience comprised of all the art you've ever interacted with. And it's different for everyone. My philosophy of art is thus. In the year 2000, I was living in Boston, and I was walking down a street with a group of happy friends one night. Somebody pointed to a bunch of bottles displayed on a trash can. It was a lot. It was like cities of glass spires, so many bottles from like a long party night. And I was all, oh wait. So somebody was all, that's like art. And I was all, no, this is art. And I did a cannonball right into the middle of the bottles. Like Iggy Pop. That's how I met Prismo. No, that's not true. The rest of that story is, what you doing there, sweet pea? Now I kind of think those are both art. It's all art, baby. When I was young, I was sometimes seized by spontaneous moments, such as that one. Probably something of a manic pixie nightmare guy. I took art very seriously. I still do. So when I was like 16 or 17, I had a stroke, and I think that explains my life. Hello. Anyway, recently I felt like rewatching this. I had rewatched Eternal Sunshine and King John Malkovich recently-ish, and was just reminded of what a great writer Charlie Kaufman is. This is credited to Charlie Kaufman and Donald Kaufman. Donald Kaufman is totally fictitious. I guess I was interested in this movie though because it's the neatest thing about this film to me is its script, in that the movie is about writing the script that is the script for the movie that you're watching. It's amazing and artful and so neat, and I almost never hear that aspect of it commented on. I remember when this came out in the early 2000s, a friend being like, that ending is such a cop-out. Why'd it get all dramatic and stuff? I'm like, his brother's collaborating with him, writing the script. I think this movie is miraculous, and it still freaks me out anytime I back out of a driveway, because there is just a horrifying scene of people backing out of a driveway, Chris Cooper's character. But this is about a screenwriter trying to adapt a book. I used to have the book, The Orchid Thief, that is a real book that this was about, but I must have lost it in the purge when my collection was more than half. So I haven't read this in the years I've had it, so I wish I had it though, because I love this movie. Excellent one. But Brian Cox in this movie plays Robert McKee. So first little getting bookish here with this discussion. Story, this is a good writing book. Check it out if you like writing. I've talked to writers before that are like, I don't need to read books on all this stuff. It's like, why not? Why not know everything? Understand your craft. Understand it all. These are just people's observations, and you can agree or disagree. I disagree with this guy all the time. Who cares? I can still get something worthwhile out of it. I have a writing handbook that is not prescriptive. It's like good suggestions and principles, and sometimes I'll have a rule and then I'll have the opposite of that rule and make the case for that too. It's like, here are things that worked for me, like put like with like. In fact, I did a video of one part of that book on this channel, if you go find it, called like Mike's Writing Handbook or something. Anyway, for whatever reason in my subconscious, after I watched Adaptation, I really wanted to watch 8½, this 1962-63 Federico Fellini film. He's considered like one of the greats. I think Steven Spielberg said this was his favorite movie of all time. This is also well directed by Spike Jonze. This is a great film. Still packs a punch. Artistically and personally inspiring. But this time really hit me, and as soon as I watched it, I realized why Adaptation had put me in the mood to watch it. This movie is about a director trying to make the very movie that you're watching. And it's the exact same thing. Why have I never heard these two films talked about together? They're like, this was probably paying homage to this in a sense. Fellini is mentioned in this. Donald the twin brother of Nicolas Cage. Cage plays twin roles in this one. He's just come back from a screenwriting seminar with Robert McKee, and played by Brian Cox. They look nothing like. That's funny. We cast Martin Scorsese to play him, but Brian Cox does a great job. His brother says there hasn't been a new genre since Fellini invented the mockumentary. He's just kind of got that like fresh out of a screenwriting conference. Here are the rules, energy going. But it's really an interesting performance. Pair of performances do seem like distinct characters. Anyway, but this movie is incredible. This is so good. I loved it. It's really powerful. It's as inwardly directed and candid about oneself as like a movie like Mother. It's really like, it kind of made me squirm in parts because it's like a man being really confronted with his own lesser nature, his actions and everything. And like, it has this incredible, like, it all weaves together. This is the movie that he's trying to direct. And once you kind of discover the rhythm of this, I've seen this a few times and it never hit me like it hit me this time. I'm like, what a hook. What a cool, fun, interesting movie. It's engaging. It's in Italian, but like, you know, it draws you in. I highly recommend watching this one if you haven't seen this one. I guess it was his 8.5th film. People wanted to call it The Beautiful Confusion, which I think is a good title. I got this because I was working my way through this book, Roger Ebert, The Great Movies. There's 3 of them and I have 2. And I've watched most of these now, but some are hard to find. I ain't rich. I'm barely solvent. I think by the dictionary definition of solvent, I'm not. The car is still in the shop, but I'm about to get it back, I hope. It still has more things that need fixed. Ugh. So today I rode the bus to CNM to go talk to an advisor because I'm going to be taking teaching classes there, the community college here. I have a master's degree, but it's kind of not worked for me. It's not done much. But if I have a teaching degree and a master's degree, or a teaching certification or whatever, and a master's, I could like make a good bit of money, assuming the government reopens ever. And this is Hello History. This is during a government shutdown in 2025 right now. Drove with a friend to Kashikatui the other day and it was all closed up. Oh, that's Tent Rocks. As seen in the background at Young Guns 2. These geologic hoodoos of obsidian around. Anyway, 8.5's in here. It's like the ending is a little bit like A Christmas Carol or Scrooge. I prefer the 1973 Albert Finney version. But it's really symbolic and deft how the different threads of the story, this science fiction movie that this guy wanted to make, and this daydream. The director didn't really want to make it, it didn't seem. It seemed like it was being foisted upon him by producers. It's mostly like it's about this crisis that he's having. He doesn't know what to do, how to make a movie. He wants to make a true movie. He keeps flashing back to his childhood, but he also see these fantasy worlds, like one where all the women he's ever known are. And in that one, he forces the older ones up the stairs into the world of memory. And then at the end, they've got this huge set for this rocket that's been built for this sci-fi thing. You're going to superimpose a model against it. And everybody comes walking down these stairs, and it's like he's freed. And, well, there's also an imagined suicide. And it's incredible. I really loved this movie. I consider it high art. And now it's like something I'll definitely rewatch. You know, it's kind of weird how things don't click with people at first, and then you're like, this is amazing. I read the Wikipedia page for it today, and it said that one scholar said it echoes Robert Musil's The Man Without Qualities, a similar work of introspection where the work is the work. And my book is kind of like that. I was thinking about that. Like, I've been writing my book for 15 years, so a lot of my book, especially book 2, is about writing that book. Gosh darn it. This will be part of the cover. Shadows of Clouds on the Mountains. Book 1 of 2. I'm almost done with book 1. And book 2 starts with the birth of my oldest kid. And most of that's done too. Girl, you're always so pretty. Action. Drama. Musil strikes me as someone who embodied that idea that being an artist is easy. All you have to give is your whole life. He like suffered to make this book exist. This guy and me have something in common. In his time and me in mine. To quote Nacho Libre, we are the gatekeepers of our own destiny, and I will have my glory day in the sun. I do believe that. Musil got his. In his dotage, he had like a society that loved his writing, that like had an annual fund just for like his apartment, and like, so that's cool. Translated into English. Here it is at last, the fully fleshed arrival in English of the third member of the Trinity in 20th century literature, complementing Ulysses and remembrance of things past. Wow. Yeah, here's Ulysses. That kind of 8.5 does feel like that a little bit too. Another script by Charlie Kaufman for the amazing movie Synecdoche, New York that he directed. Love it. I love this movie. And the script helped clarify a lot of timelines and things I've been wondering about in that. Anyway, these two go great together, and I think I recommend this order. That'd be a good double feature. Maybe I'll bring those to the guild sometime. Albuquerque's got a great independent theater that for not very much money you can reserve. The podcast has done it a few times. We had a great showing of Track of the Moon Beast. Just such a fun event. This 1972 Z-level horror film. We had all these speakers on relevant topics, like Z-horror, regional independent film, exploitation films of that time, Bill Finger. Yeah, this monster movie was, what was it? It was co-written by Bill Finger, co-creator of Batman, his last movie. And it was where Rick Baker, the famous makeup artist, kind of got his start. That's where the song California Lady came from. Anyway, y'all like these movies? They're good literary works about the act of creation. I pair them here together because they both are about making what they are. That's fantastic. This is the script that he's trying to write in this movie. This is the movie that he's going to make. Incredible. I love it. I did find one old review online that thought he didn't go far enough and telling himself enough. I'm like, I don't know. That's pretty brutal. That's excoriating. When I first saw that movie Mother by Darren Aronofsky, I was like, I can't believe a male artist put this damning a portrait of the male ego on the screen. Insane. You know, that's a radical act of art to be that vulnerable even about your worst aspects. To absolve one? I don't know. Sometimes I think art kind of does, but in that the original sins or whatever that led to the art got forgotten. Neither of these had much in the way of extras. Right, this has been a bookish look at some movies. Don't forget to pay your annual tribute to Prismo so that we won't feel her telepathic wrath. Cat is like basically Professor X. She's got powers. And we just don't want her to bust that out. She can be moody. I recommend paying it at Michael Farrell Smith on PayPal. I'll see that it gets to her, or at least be used for the rent that benefits her. Right, Sweepy? R.I.P. Marcy. Okay. I may start a separate DVD channel sometime because I always like to talk about movies. That's fun. And ultimately what I love is story, you know? Books are great and everything, but what I love is story. I do love books more, the most. Much more, obviously. I think I've got a few thousand books in here. About 300 DVDs, maybe. And then, of course, Prismo's collections of war trophies. She traveled the stars with the Predators for some time.